to excuse yourself in the bonus. This is just casual. Lou, questions, thoughts, insights you have?
Was there a join me session that I was supposed to be looking at, Mark, today?
Raving Fan is every week. Ravingfan.net.
Ravingfan.net.
Yeah.
I was missing that, so I wasn't tracking completely.
Sure.
I'm putting that in my database.
Cool. So one of the things I'll just give you all for coaching-wise, these sessions, all of these sessions, they're, just think about it, going to 7.4 billion people. And so when you have thousands and thousands of people that are listening to the rebroadcast of this, how do I come across? So being on TV, being on radio, all of those type of things, I think about how are people thinking about me? Am I branding myself well? Am I drawing them in? Is there, is everything I'm saying, everything I'm doing, is it creating tremendous value and significance, in one's life? And so, any other thoughts, questions, insight, Lou, that you would have?
Well, I think that my first insight is that when you're doing things, do they match together? And how do you dovetail them? The reason why I say that, I was speaking with Jen earlier this week, and she was bringing that to my attention. She says, I see how it's the wheel, and what you're doing is all spoke to the wheel. So although the center of the wheel might be an IT support company, the spokes to the wheel, so to speak, are number one, an IT support company. Who would have thought? And then the second one is a CFO mastermind group. And why a CFO mastermind group? Because CFOs are the one who oversee most of the IT departments. And then even when I'm doing my YouTube channel, My Car Story with Lou, many times the person, and Peter talked about a little bit, the people of influence have not just one car, but they have a whole stable full of cars. And then those people usually at one point ask me, is this all you do, is car videos? And then you say, as a matter of fact, no, I have this CFO mastermind group and this IT support business. Do you have an IT person? Do you have a CFO at your company? So they all connect and glide together, and yet one of them is totally for fun. One of them is obviously straight up business, and the other one is a caveat to actually attract the people that I'm trying to attract by getting them all in a room and listening to their issues.
Nice. And so Jill wants to thank you, Lou. She thinks she's got it figured out how she's going to take the purple cow principle and earn $1 million from it.
That's awesome.
Right. If
Jill, are you on the phone?
She is.
Yes, I am.
I want to just add something to that. How are you planning to do that? Are you going to do YouTube, or what are you going to do?
I'm not sure yet.
So, Jill, what Jill meant to say is, okay, she's still learning this, Lou. What she meant to say was, Lou, I'm just going to do what the wizard tells me to do, duh.
Duh.
All right, that's fine.
So it worked just like I thought it would. Like in the coffee connection, and it especially works with women. Men, maybe a little slower, I don't know. But with women, it's so effective, it's insane. And so what you're looking for is you're looking for interesting people, or every human being is interesting. How do you draw that out of them? And so with Ski and Jen, they're working on putting together the videos for the Personality Masteries course and for the Life, GPS app. So how do they, what's the positioning of it? How do they go through and do that? And we'll hear from Ski in just a minute. Lee, what would you like to accomplish today?
I am just moving forward with the 12-week countdown for the Mastermind Seminar, and that's been going great. And I love coming on to Leverage and hearing week by week the little tidbits of wisdom from Peter and Tom, from concepts of asking the right questions to really hearing the examples of using leverage to continue the growth and filling the seats.
Nice. So, Peter, how do you help people that may be reluctant to push people, move people, to push and move if push and move is needed?
In what context? Any generally?
Sure.
Well, I think you have to show them, give them some insight to the benefit or how it's going to move them closer to their objectives.
So Lou and Ski and Lee and Rosanna, do the four of you believe that you can push people or not so much?
I can push people.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think for me, it depends on who it is. There's certain people and certain amounts of push you can give people to get a result.
Okay. So I want to go into the inner city. I'm going to do my inner city test here and test you guys' social intelligence. Everybody can participate in this test. So they generally think they can push. Do I think the four of them can push?
No, that's why you asked.
Okay, so Rosanna, she gets to go to the inner city with me. She passed the test, social intelligence, high social intelligence, quick with a response. See, if you're in the inner city, you better think fast, because if you don't, you could die or get somebody killed next to you. So what's the difference? Why is it that people think they can push, but I think, not so much?
Because of the results or lack thereof that you're seeing from each of us.
Oh. Huh. Okay. That's cool. Okay. Other thoughts?
The reason you asked
can
the
lead a
question
horse
first.
to water, but you can't make it drink.
But you can put salt in the oats.
Well, then it's a question, are you pushing or are you pulling?
Yeah, and a driver
Or are
doesn't.
you incentivizing?
Yeah, the driver doesn't care. The analytic cares. That's a really important detail for the analytic. We got to know. The driver's I don't care, just as long as we get the results. And so when my son-in-law, his mom, said that, I don't know, probably 9 years when my daughter and he were engaged, and she went ahead and said, you can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink, but you can put salt in the oats. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I love that. I'm never going to forget that. And so...
Well, isn't putting salt in the oats the same as asking questions? Because it comes back to, if people know what they want, it's like asking a customer, what is it you're looking for, or what is it or for identifying their needs. Once you know where somebody's trying to get to or what they want, then you can apply what you've got to help them get there. Versus people that don't know what they want, particularly, then you can basically push them or tell them, right? So you have to, I think, establish whether people are clear about their purpose, their goals, their needs, and if they're clear about those, you identify those through asking people questions and listening. Then you can start to leverage what you have to fit in with helping them. If they don't know, then I agree. You can put salt in the oats and get them to where you know they need to go.
Are all of you familiar with you all know that I have social autism, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, anybody know why I said that?
Because you're
Why
going
did
to
you
use
say
it.
that, Mark?
I'm going to use it. What do you mean, Jill? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
Just like when somebody says something about excuse me or whatever.
Right.
It's like you're giving you're starting out to tell somebody you're gonna disrespect them. Or when you say I don't mean any with due respect. Means you're gonna disrespect.
Right. Isn't that awesome? Like, I'm like, why are people doing it? I'm like, oh, because it works. And so I was playing basketball, and I was covering this really big guy, and I'm kind of a short guy, and he's down underneath, and I said, before they checked the ball, and I said, hey, I just want to apologize. And he said, for what? I said, because I'm going to follow you. Because it's the only way I could keep him out. And so the social autism, so the question I want to ask, but I'm like, Mark, you can't ask that because that's a social autistic question. Like, are all of you familiar with dimensional integrity?
I have no idea.
So Fitz, he's a printer in Louisiana, and I said, hey, Fitz, do you think people have integrity or don't, or do you think there's a spectrum of integrity? He's like, people have it or don't. I said, really? And he said, yeah. I said, so, and he was never on time, sometimes didn't show up. I said, so if somebody's, 10 minutes late, do they lack integrity? If people say they're going to do something and not do it, do they lack integrity? He said, oh, I do believe in dimensional integrity then, Mark. And so, like, somebody who's socially autistic thinks that when somebody says they're going to do something, that they're going to do it. And they don't understand any excuses. So they don't understand because it's like, well, I have 7 kids. Like Dave Libby, good friend of mine, we had a 6 o'clock appointment. Back then, he was always late. This was, 10 years ago. So I always bring a book in my journal so I can work. And sure enough, he was, 20 minutes late or whatever. And he comes in, give each other, a hug, a greeting. And he's like, Mark, you don't give anybody any room, do you? I'm like, this is before I discovered that I had my disability. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I didn't. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I knew I was going to be 20 minutes. I knew I was going to be late, and then I started coming up with reasons. Like I had I'm on the board of directors of a nonprofit. I was up late last night. It's like, oh my gracious, Mark's on 3 boards. And then he says, then my kids, I was trying to get out, and I have 5 kids. Oh, that's right, Mark has 7 kids. He's like, it's like mentally you are like a chess player with people's minds. And you get out in front of every excuse somebody has, and you like vaporize the excuse before it ever gets out. And so, like what I'm seeking to do is build a whole bunch of people who are socially autistic around me. It's like when we say we're going to do something, we do it, even if it's a phone call or return or whatever we're going to do. Like it's integrity. Like we have, like leverage, I think, that kind of leverage in a group, when you get a group of people together where everybody does what they say they're going to do all the time, no excuses, that gives tremendous leverage. When you, like I think that, Lou and Ski and Lee and Rosanna, I think all 4 of you could push a lot harder than the 4 of you do. And I don't understand why you don't, because you're all nicer than I am. All 4 of you are charming, far more charming than I am. I think all 4 of you are a lot smarter than I am. Like, I'm just like, why is it that they don't push when they could? I don't understand it. Lou, any ideas you have?
I wouldn't say I'm smarter than you because you've called me a girl, a witch.
Oh my gracious, women! Can you just believe what he said? He just dissed women. He just went ahead and showed his true colors.
Mark, you asked me to answer your question. Now you're jumping in. So either ask me to answer the question, stop talking, or jump in. What do you want to do?
Oh, that's cool. That's cute. I always love when somebody forgets the wizard rules.
So, back to your question. So, no, I agree with Tom and Peter that you play chess with people and you like to get way in front of them with the moves and you ask the questions because you know the answers, and I respect that. I'm happy with that, and you've brought a lot of value to my life by making me think of different ways and incorporating getting assistance when I'm too busy and things like that. So I tolerate you and love you all in the same sentence, and I think you're all of those things, but I will just, for the rest of the group, when I first met Mark, I said, I don't like this guy. I told my wife, and she goes, you know why I don't like him? I said, why? She goes, because he's just like you. I said, well, then I guess I like him now.
And that's one of the things I love about Lou, like who says that? Like who says, I don't like a guy, and then his wife asks why, and then he explains it, then she sees like his gap in seeing, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I like him. Like who switches their thinking, that quick? And when Lou went ahead and said, like, Mark, you have no foreplay. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, what is he talking about? And that really helped me to understand, okay, Mark, maybe you go a little too fast with people. Like, that's what you have to do with a socially autistic person. You have to use language that it's like, oh, okay.
Well, let me use the exact quote. I said, Mark, give me pizza before you have sex with me.
Okay. Okay, there you go. And so, Ski, your thoughts?
I think it really comes down to how do you connect with the person's why, and that I think that's what helps, create that connection to the why. I think it allows people to drive more, or gives them a reason to drive more, makes it clear, and then helping them see, or I guess you call it a conceptual bridge to how whatever you're having them do, how it connects. So constantly delivering that reminder of the why and the connection to whatever it is that you want them to drive for.
So how valuable would it be for you, Ski, if you knew somebody's why before you talked to them?
I think it's huge. It allows me to adjust and to customize my message when I know their why, so that I can help do that in my situation where I want to create that bridge between what they want and how what I'm proposing will help them get that.
Wow, nice. Peter, I know you got to run here soon. Any questions or thoughts or final thoughts you have, Peter?
No, I think it connects into that virtual circle, listen, see, think, do, and I think the why is a critical part of it, whether it's a why is a goal or it's a purpose or objective. When you have that listen, see, think, do, and the why, then that allows you to adapt if you know the personalities. Tailor.
Right. Rosanna, do you remember the word that Ava Linda used? Edify. So one of the things that Tom knows how to do and Peter knows how to do amazingly well is edification. Like they know how to edify so fast to people. And I've seen that with other world thought leaders. Like they can zero in and find somebody's essence and then they can edify that. They lift that up, they blow that up, they extend that out to help people see it. And so, not today, but sometime in the future, if you guys want to before you ever meet somebody, before you ever talk to somebody, before you ever have any data on that person. Like, I don't need anything, and I think I can figure out somebody's why just based on really, really high-level natural laws. I mean, it's just really cool. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it so much. Appreciate it. Ski, anything else you have?
Just I want to thank Peter for a tidbit of information that he provided earlier that I wasn't thinking of, and that was when he mentioned the personality masteries and the ability to utilize that with a CRM. I started to see a bigger picture of where, as you get people to capture that information from personality masteries using the app and to be able to get that into the CRM, how it allows you to be able to look at that very quickly, that information, before you communicate with that person and say, here's what they're after, here's how they communicate, and I need to be able to adjust to that. That's a key thing that we can all utilize going forward when you know that bit of information can be inserted into somebody's CRM.
Nice. It's interesting in how your eyes can, like an instrument panel, like a dashboard, and how it can be trained to connect into the brain. Like if somebody gives me a 1342 and a 1234, if they give me those numbers in a specific order, I can build an image in my brain that immediately connects me in to that individual. And that's where I think you and Jen and Lou, like, you guys do a lot of videos. Jill's starting to get up and going on videos, and she's going to do the purple cow, and it's going to transform her business. I'm guessing it's going to increase her effectiveness in specific key areas by potentially 100 times, maybe 1,000 times. And this is the thing, like Tom, he comes up with this genius stuff. Peter comes up with this genius stuff. Lou comes up with this. Like, Lou is sitting on a gold mine, just unbelievable. And I'm so jealous of them. Like, I'm just like, how do they see this stuff? Like, how do they, I don't know, it's just amazing. Rosanna, yes.
Just one other point I wanted to make. The slides that you showed and talked to early on in this session about the app, that is where we need to go with Jen and I in doing a new video. That simplicity, that explanation, that's sort of the basis. I can see a few more things that could be added. That is great.
Nice.
That, I think, is going to be the basis for the new video.
Cool. I'm really excited, and we're rapidly running out of runway here. We got 20 more days. So how do we go ahead and raise, how do we raise a lot of money for Life Masteries Institute, Legacy Partners, and a whole bunch of others? The goal of Life Masteries is to generate so much revenue that they don't know what to do with it all, so they give it to other worthwhile efforts that don't have the economic engine, they don't have the technology or the ability to do fundraising, but what they're doing is phenomenal things. Rosanna, what would you like to accomplish?
Well, on that note, how do we get people to go ahead and see the spectacular things that you see that could be done with the app?
Lou, any ideas on that?
I have to think about that.
Okay. Anybody have any ideas on that?
Connected to their why.
Where are you planning? I guess let me ask one question just to seek to understand. Where are you planning right now to push that app out? Are you planning to push it on Facebook? Are you planning to push it on YouTube ads? Are you planning to put up billboards on Chicago's highways? What's your thoughts on what's your current strategy?
Sure. So the first is they're working right now on the DNAforPeople.com. And so that's going to probably be the point place for it. And that will then capture, so it's a free mobile app with a free white paper, so that will capture people who are interested in it. And then through Life Masteries Institute, Legacy Partners, Coffee Connection, Mastermind Seminars, they've got Legacy Partners has a database that they've filtered and cleaned of 50,000 professionals around the country. And so they're probably going to end up with 250,000 to 500,000 emails that they're going to go ahead and be touching on a regular basis. So that's phase one. Do it through the current, sources that people have. People will have their own channels, and so, Ski can have a channel, Jen can have a channel. So different people having different channels, and so that would then be driven through their, the social media. So those types of things. As the contributions come in, some percentage of that contribution, those contributions then would go to, like, the next phase in this. I think there's 30-some thousand that have been raised and put in, and beyond that, actually. That's why Life Masteries needs to get, on the ball here, because they're behind the 8 ball. I mean, they've already put in over 30,000, a lot more than that. And so they're raising, I think, another 80 or 90,000, and they want to raise as much as that as they can before the end of the year for that. And then some percentage of that, Lou, would go to Facebook ads and YouTube and whatever. So the first thing, is getting some seed money in, let's say, and then going after the social media. And then going after the big causes, stopping child trafficking or suicide prevention. And that's where, when somebody from Tom's or Peter's or your networks, when somebody from you guys' networks that has $1 million, like one of Lou's connections selling a train for $1.5 million, model train. Okay, so there's people out there that have $1 million and have a great cause, and they're really passionate about something, and they would give $1 million to this project. Like, it'd be like, oh my, their son or their daughter or their spouse or their parent or granddaughter. Somebody committed suicide or tried to. Somebody's addicted. Somebody's whatever. So when you tap into somebody's heart, they're going to give a lot of money. And when they give a lot of money, then some percentage of that's not only going to be in further developing the app and supporting all of it, and then the videos that go along with it, but then also, promoting that to get tens of thousands of people, hundreds, millions of people coming in and visiting, stopping depression or stopping adult and teen suicide, those type of things, Lou.
That was a lot more than I was expecting. I would have been good with just like Facebook, YouTube.
Well, you got to have money for that, right?
No, you don't. You can use Twitter's free, Facebook based on how your friends are pushing it out, free. You have to add yourself to groups. You got to find groups that are passionate about that situation. But no, you could do that with time. You could do that for free.
So probably having you on, I don't know if you're available a half an hour earlier. Like Emily was going to connect with you about interviewing you for the YouTube stuff a half an hour before this call and giving 2-3 weeks notice, maybe not, and interviewing you and trying to get a whole bunch of people to participate, and then having you share how people could do that, and that would bring benefit to them and the mobile app and the recognition.
Emily, are you on the call?
She is not.
Oh.
No. But I can pass along a note to her.
Yeah, just let her know. Call me on the weekends are best.
Okay, we'll do. Jill, anything else you have?
No, not now.
All right. Anybody else have anything else?
Good, Mark.
All right. You guys are awesome. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.